We're going to do some Pilates today, and I'm going to start in standing. Bit of a full body one today. Just going to do a gentle warm up. Just going to start by turning that head side to side. Bit of gentle mobility work. Now we're going to bring our chin towards our chest, stretching out through the back of the neck. Looking into the sky, stretching all through the interior part of our neck. Moving between these positions. Right, now we're going to stretch to the side of the neck. Place one arm down, your hand on the side of your head. Apply a gentle stretch, long ways. Take a few breaths here. Swapping to the other side, gently placing the hand over your head near the ear, drawing the arm opposite direction. Just going to roll our shoulders a little bit. Just a bit of movement in there today. Alright, now we're just going to do some, I've got my partner here and he's wanting to watch, so we're going to do some hip activation. Now, so standing on one leg, I want you to lift that leg out to the side, descend to nice, slow control. It's really common that sometimes people compensate and will bring it forwards. That's sort of using all your hip flexor. So we want to try and take it directly back, and directly to the side and a little bit back, because that's really what's going to target those glutes. Will go away. Sorry. So the slower you do this, the better. A bit hard with it balancing on that one leg as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come into a few squats, okay? So I want you to think about it. Are you moving down in a symmetrical pattern? Are those hips drawing back at the same time? Right. So now we want to make sure that we're not excessively arching through the low back, but we're going back and pretending we're sitting on a chair. Right. Now I like to place my hands on my hips for a bit of feedback. Sometimes you can feel one way, like yourself starting to rotate that way. So I like to use it just for a bit of self-correction. Alright. What we're going to do is we're going to come down into a squat, stand up, and then I want you to rise up onto your toes, follow down your heels, and then go back down. Into the toes. Back down. Now, we don't want to have our ankles sticking out to the side. We want to keep them in a nice straight line as we come up into our toes. Additionally, you don't want to be falling off your toes, just plonk down. I almost lost my balance there. But once you come up onto your toes, I want you to lower nice and slow. Right. Guys, well done. Really nice work. Try to keep that tummy engaged as well to help with your balance. I'm coming my head off. I'm going to come up onto my toes in this. Alrighty. Now, let's sit down into our squat and we're going to pulse the 15 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Place your arms wherever you like. Hips out, whatever feels best for you. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, shake the legs out a little bit. We're going to do some sumo squats now. So we're going to turn our feet out. Now I want you to make sure you're rotating from the hips and not from your knees, okay? Everyone has their own range and you do what's best for your body, okay? So coming down into our squat, nice and deep. Make it a little bit easy. You can use your hands, slide them along the sides of your legs. Now we want to make sure that knee is tracking in line with our second toe. Right. So what can happen is that the knees come inwards like that, but we don't want it like that. We want it in line with those toes. Nice. Almost think you're going down into a toaster. We're going to start adding a bit of a pattern with this one now. So what I would like you to do is rotate face one direction. You should do a lunge there, turn back to the front, come into your sumo squat, turn to face the other way, lunge back to center, okay? So a little bit of coordination on this Saturday morning. And again, as we're doing these lunges, make sure that that front toe is tracking in line with the second toe. Up, trying to go up on the ball of that foot. We're trying to get a 90-degree position here, 90-degree position in the back leg, okay? Yeah, and so I'm just going to do a lunge forward for you all. But watch that hip doesn't start sinking out to the side. We're going to keep it nice and straight. So if you have to adjust your feet as you turn to the side to get you in a better position with your hips, please do so. We won't be here for too much longer. So for another 10 counts. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Give this a quick shake. We've got one more thin exercise to do before we lie down on the mats. I'm going to come up onto one foot, and I want you to extend forward. All right, we're trying to get down chippy bird position. It's a bit hard to do while I'm talking. If you need something for balance, like a chair, please feel free to use that one. We reach the leg backwards. Soft bend in the knee. Try to keep those hips under. Really working for the hamstring and the glute as we lift our legs up. Okay? Keeping that tummy drawn in. Step away. If this is as far as you need to go for the exercise, that's absolutely fine. Woo! That's my balance this morning. Reach that little way. Draw your belly button. Let's go here for 10 more counts. 9, 8, 7, 6, keep that leg on 9, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake out that supporting leg. That's really strong when you're doing single leg work. So coming on to the next side, keeping that belly button drawn in. Standing on one leg, we reach the leg away. Drop the chest. Trying to get to a nice 90 position. And then coming up. Now, as you reach that leg away, you want to avoid excessive extension that you start to change the position of your low back. That's not what we're trying to achieve today. So we keep our belly button drawn long. Looks like a rod. It's going from the tip of your skull all the way down towards your foot. Right? And then it's going to be challenging enough in the balance. Also, watch that you're not rotating at the hips. We're not trying to open up the hips, we're keeping them square towards the ground. Alright? So you can get a bit of feedback by placing your hands on your hips. Please do so. We're almost there, guys. Right back. Go for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's shake those legs out. And we're going to come down lying onto our mat. So I'm just going to readjust my camera just so you can see me on the floor. Alrighty. Okay. Alrighty. Let's lie down onto our backs. I always like to start with pelvic tilts. You'll find that that's a bit of a common theme for me because it just gives us a sense of awareness. So we're pressing our tailbone to the ground and flattening through the low back as we tilt it the other way. So we anterior tilt is we press our tailbone into the ground, creating a small arch to the low back, and then our posterior pelvic tilt when we flatten through the low back. Let's just move between these two positions. Nice gentle movements. And avoid excessive arching through the thoracic spine where our rib cage is. If it lifts up a little bit, that's okay, but it's not like we want to have all of our chest rounded. Right, now I'm just going to tilt our pelvis sides to side. By sort of lateral and medial pelvic tilts. I just want you to have a bit of awareness about what even weight bearing through the pelvis feels like. So we tilt it to the right, you can feel more pressure on the right side. Come back to center, it's more even pressure. And then left side, we feel more pressure through the left side. So when we're doing our core work today, as we lift our legs up, I want you to really have awareness about where your weight is. Are you evenly pressing through the low back? Everyone. Right. So we're going to start with some bent knee full workouts today. So this is really important. So if you want to place your hands on the side of your hips, please do so, or you have them side by side. In that belly button, lift through the pelvic floor. I want you to allow the leg to pull out to the side, coming back to your midline. Then take the opposite one away, so we're alternating legs and bringing it back to center. And drawn in through that belly button, bringing it back. And it doesn't have to be a huge movement. If you can take your leg that far out without changing pressure through the pelvis, that is absolutely fine. But if you only need to take it maybe 10, 20 degrees away from your body, that is also fine. Everybody's on their own journey, with their own capacity. If this is feeling fairly comfortable, we can do this from tabletop. So that's when we bring our legs 90-90 position, and then we allow the leg to go away, and then bring it back in. So this is a lot more challenging on your center of gravity. and takes a lot more pelvic control. Take it away, and then back to center. Right, so all this movement is coming from femur in the joint, so the hip joint, not the pelvis. Belly button drawn in. Have a feel through those hips to see if they're rocking as you're doing this. Please do so. That tummy drawn nice and tight, nice and stable. If you feel like you start to lose control while doing this one, great job for trying this one, but I would recommend you coming back down and just doing it from the ground. That's the case, okay? Do what feels best for your body. Almost there with this one. And then I'm going to add on another layer. Sometimes having your hands on the base of your ribcage can give you an indication if you're losing control of the back, because you'll feel them pressing up. So keep those ribs drawn down, belly button drawn in nice and tight. Let's go for 5 more counts. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just lower those legs down. Let them knees rock side to side for a moment. Now, what we're going to do next is dead bug series. I'm going to gradually build it up. So you do what feels best for your body today. And I'm going to give you a couple of options. We start with that nice neutral pelvis, with our legs in bent, and you're just going to bring one leg up and lower it down. Maintain consistent pressure through the pelvis, up, and then bringing it back down. Try to get to that 90-90 position. So we don't want to bring it past here because we want our tummies to be working. So as we start to fatigue, people will commonly bring their legs, their knees over their hips, but we want our tummies working. So if this is feeling like a good challenge for you, please continue with this one. If not, you can bring both legs up to tabletop. One leg away, and bring it back to center. Right? Keep the ribs drawn in. All of this movement is coming from the hips, not from the knees. Okay? If I have anyone that's super eager, you could try to do 2 legs away and then bring them back to center. Again, if you start to lose control, don't take it quite as far. So you can almost see here, as I take my leg, both legs there, I'm starting to arch a bit excessively through my lower back, so I shouldn't take it quite up. Or I can just take it, continue with my single legs. That's it. I think you can tell that I'm starting to fatigue because I'm wanting to bring my legs up. Okay. Up past my hip joint. That one almost there, guys. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't let those legs rest down. Just let those knees fall to the side. Stretch out through the side of the body. Again, everybody's got their own range, so if your legs go here, that's fine. Just move in between the 2 sides. Sometimes our back will get a little bit of a click. That's perfectly fine. Just the pressure changing in the joints. Then we're going to do one more lying on our backs now, and this is sort of going to add a bit of the bent knee fallouts and the dead bug legs together. So you can do this from, I'll show you from feet on the ground, from a quick class. So you let the knee fall out towards the side, and you extend the leg away, bring it back to center, and then lower it back down. Okay. So it falls out to the side. We're going to alternate, but I'm just going to do this again because it's easier to see. Leg falls out, extend the leg. So your leg is actually out on the diagonal. Then you draw it back around so your feet are pointing to the wall before you lower it down. Okay? Just try that. You have a knee foot out to the side. Extend the knee. Draw it back to center. Then place it back down. Okay, so there's one part of the movement, the bent knee foot out. 2 is the leg. 3 is bringing that leg there, and then 4 we're bringing it back to center. So you go 1, extend the knee. 2, pointing it to the wall. 3, placing it back down. Now you can do this from tabletop, so we have the leg full away from us. Extend the knee, it's out on the diagonal. Back to center, back to pointing there, to the wall, sorry, and then bringing it back to midline. So we have our leg to fall out to the side. Extend, pointing foot to the wall, back to center. We'll keep going for this for not too long, everyone. Back to center. Try to keep breathing through this all as well. Let's not hold any breaths. 2, 3, together. Ooh, I lost my coordination. 1, 2, 3. Good work, guys. Bent knee fall out. Leg extension. Back in. 1, 2, 3. Back in. Knee fall out. Leg extension. Let's try to go one more on each side, everyone. The slower the better. Keep its belly buttons drawn in, lift that pelvic floor. Okay. Rest those feet down. We're going to come into a bridging series now. So we're just going to start, just do a few pelvic tilts just to get that low back moving. Now we're focusing on articulating through the spine. So I want you to think about one vertebrae lifting off the ground at a time. So first, get on feet pressing into the ground. I want you to flatten through your lumbar spine. As you start to lift the tailbone up, really rolling up. As we press up into that glute bridge, then we start to lower through the upper back first, then the middle of the back, and the lower of the back, and flat down. Okay? So we will tap the pelvis, so we go into our posterior pelvic tilt. Lift up through the lower back, healing one vertebrae up at a time. Pressing up into the hips, so we're trying to flat through here. I always see any sort of bend position through there, okay, because that means you're not squeezing fully through those glutes. Lower through the top of our back, middle of our back, lower back, and press down into our pelvis. We're going again. This is a really good exercise to strengthen the glutes and open up through the front of the hips. So if people have tight hip flexors from sitting at a desk at work, it's a really nice way to open up through the hip. Lifting up. Good. If you're feeling any pressure or discomfort through the low back, really think about bracing through your core and supporting the muscles in your back and all the stretches in your back. So now this time as we come up, give yourself a break at any point if you need to. We're going to come up. I want you to walk through one foot, lower, the other foot, then lower, and then roll back down. So we're lifting the toe, weight bearing a bit more through the other leg. So we pull up. So I've got a flat heel on this one, and then I'm pushing up into my toe. Lower that one. So I have to lose my position there, and then rounding through the back. Flat through the lumbar spine. So up into the hips, walking through the toe, move your toe, coming back down. If you want to take your hands off the ground as well, that's another option to make it a bit more challenging. Try to maintain that breath. It's going to really warm up the front of the legs. Are you still breathing? You're not holding your breath. Let's go for 5 more counts, everyone. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Give those legs a little bit of shake, the knee. We're going to come onto our side and do some glute bridging. So if you need a pillow or anything, please feel free to use one. You can rest on your arm, you can rest up like this. So I want you to think nice and long through the torso, like you can slide a piece of paper underneath your waistline. Now we're going for about 45 degrees the hip. So if 90 is here, I call that 45 degrees from straight, and then our knees are back as well. So I'm going to start with some clams. Going up through that knee, being up towards the sky, and then lowering it back down. Right. So up through that knee. And we want to make sure that our pelvis is stacked on top of each other. So if you need to adjust your body slightly, please do so. Sit right on top of each other. We're not rocking backwards, okay? You need a bit of feedback. I place my hand either on my hip or on the small of my back to feel when I'm starting to rock through my pelvis, because that means I might have taken my leg a bit far and that my pelvis is compensating because I don't have the hip range. Okay? So keep those hips stacked up on top of each other. Back down. Really nice, everyone. Lots of glute work today with the bridges, and we'll go straight into clams. So, if you want to make it slightly harder, you can lift the feet off the ground, pressing those heels together, and then pressing up into that clam. Really nice, guys. Keep breathing through this all. Keep those belly buttons drawn in. Let's go for another 15 or so counts. Just make sure that those glutes are really firing. And keep self-correcting, guys. Make sure those pelvises are nice and controlled as we fatigue. Let's go for 8, 7, 6. Keep those feet up if they're up. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Let's lower those legs down. And extend the top leg away. And we're going to draw a little rainbow. So we're going to bring the leg up and bring it slightly forward. Lift it. And then backwards slightly. Okay, it's like you're doing a little rainbow. So we're going up the leg and over there. If you bend the leg, you have a bit more support, so it's a little bit more, it's a bit easier on your balance, but you can extend the leg away if you want to make it a little bit more challenging on your stability. So a little bit more core work. Now, as you lift that leg up, try alignment through the spine, okay? Because if you lift your leg up, you see how my waist angles change? So keep it drawn in. It doesn't have to go as high as what you might think. You're really strong. Let's go for another 10, 9, 8. If you need that leg bent in, please keep it bent in. 6, 5, 4, 3, 3, 2, and 1. And now we're going to have that leg directly in line with our other leg. And we're just going to pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7. Make sure it's coming from the hip joint itself, not from your pelvis rocking. 3, 2, 1. Well done, guys, with that. A little bit of a rub. We're going to just stretch out that glute quickly. So roll onto your back. Place that left leg across your, or whichever leg you use. You might not use your left leg, but the working leg. Place the foot near on the thigh of the other leg, and you can try and draw that bottom leg closer. But if this is a big stretch for you already, just hold back there, making it deeper by bringing that bottom leg towards you. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Really strong glutes. All right, we're going to break up our glute work with a bit of 4-point kneeling work. Now, if you have yucky wrists, you can think about weight bearing through your fists, or you can picture pressing those fingers into the ground a little bit, or if they really don't like those positions, if you have a set of dumbbells or something at home, you can place them there and actually hold onto them there. But if you don't like any of this as well, you can also go onto your forearms as well. But we're going to start with just a bit of cat and cow to find our neutral spine first. Rounding through the back, making a big C curve. And we're extending through the lower back, lifting up through the chest, and we're getting a big stretch through the front of the chest. Then we're tucking in through that pelvis, rounding through the spine, moving in between each of these positions. We won't be here for very long because we're going to get into our next series. Now, find that halfway point. We keep our belly tucked in. Now we're going to do a few shoulder blade slides or scapular slides. So your arms don't actually change position. So your elbows don't bend and straighten. And no changes should occur in your spine. It's all from your shoulder blade. So we're going to drop the chest down. About to sink down, and you feel your shoulder blades come together, and then press them away from each other. You should feel your shoulder blades sliding along the chest wall. So we go one way, they squeeze together, and they slide the other way. Okay? Slide. You see how my back isn't actually changing position, and neither are my elbows, but my chest is moving down towards the ground as my shoulder blades squeeze together, and then it's moving away as I press upwards. It's a really good exercise that if you have any control issues with your shoulder blade, really helps with the muscles of the scapula attaching to the chest wall. Alrighty, let's do 3 more here. You need to come off your wrist at any time, please do so. Give them a break. I like to, it's really important that we do weight bear through our arms because that helps with our bone density in our upper body. All right, so we're going to do some arm reaches. So I want you to try and maintain a nice stable back. Let you reach one arm away, up towards the wall, and then placing it back down. You should almost be able to balance a bowl or a wine glass or something in between your shoulder blades. And as you're placing your hand back down, there shouldn't be much of a change in the position of your chest or your shoulders. Try to maintain a smooth breath. We're holding your breath. So just bring your awareness. Are you dropping your head? Try to keep those nice deep neck muscles working. So keep our chin with a nice gentle chin tuck. Not letting it sag away from us. You need to come off those wrists for a bit. Please do so. We're going to start now by extending the leg away. Back in. Just start by extending the leg away. Don't lift it off the ground quite yet. So I want you to see if you can avoid any tilting through the pelvis. Just bring your awareness back to your shoulder blades as well as your chest starting to sag. I want you to stay pressed up. I know I was a culprit of that just then. So, there should be no change in this part of your back here. Right, everyone. Now we can try to extend that leg away. Lifting up. Back down. Back to center. Leg. Really squeeze through that bottom. But as you lift that leg towards the wall, try not to extend through the low back. Okay, keeping that tummy tucked in and under. And so it doesn't matter how high you get, just want to keep it nice and strong through that tummy, the low back. Almost there, guys. And I'll give your wrists a bit of a break. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you need an upper side leg, so you're not uneven, please do so. Just sit back, put your bottom onto your feet, into child's pose. Just take a few breaths here. Alright, everyone. Now, we are going to do our glutes on the other side. So let's make sure you do the opposite side. So think about which glute you just did. I did my left on the first side, so I'm going to do my right side now. Right, so find that comfortable position for your head. Keep that tummy drawn in, hips stacked one on top of each other, about 45 degrees, about leg there, 45, 50 degrees, and then knees bent, heels together. We're going to start by lifting that top leg up, and then lowering back down. All right, everybody. Nice. Make sure that pelvis is stacked one on top of each other, that we're not rolling as we lift our leg up. You need to place your hand on the small of your back for a bit of feedback. Think that there's a wall there that you're not allowed to press into it. Or if it's like, I always use toasters as a bit of an example. If you're in a toaster and you look back, you burn your back. So try to think about that. Good. Try to keep breathing through this. Keep that tummy tucked in as well. We're really trying to work everything while we're doing this one. If you want to make it slightly harder, please lift your feet off the ground and then lift the leg from there. If you feel like this is a good enough challenge, just having your feet on the ground, please continue to do that. But if you just want that slightly harder variation, please give this one a go. You can always do this one and then go back to having your feet on the mat if that feels better for you. Or if you start to lose control after trying this one for a few shots, put your feet back down because we don't want to compromise your form for a more difficult version of the exercise. You'll still get benefit from having your feet on the ground. And everyone, let's go for another 15 counts. Really feel that weight burn. Keep that belly button drawn in. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Give that bottom a bit of a rub. We're going to draw those rainbows now with our legs. So bend the supporting leg if you would like. A little bit. Then we're bringing our leg forward on a slight angle, and then going up and over, and then taking it slightly behind us. That way. Up and over. Keep that belly drawn in. If you want to make it harder on your balance, you can extend that bottom leg away. It's a little bit more stability work. Forward and go up and over. Sit down, up and over, going forward. Really nice work, everyone. Belly button drawn in towards the spine. Keep breathing through all of this. Everyone, we won't be here for too much longer. Go for 10, 9, 8, 7. Try not to lift that leg too high if you're losing control of your core. 2, 1. Let's bring that leg in line with our hip. I'm going to pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Relax that leg, guys. Let it come down. Stretch out that glute a bit. So we put our working leg. We're going to fold that over onto that bottom leg. This feels like a good enough stretch for you. Stay there. If you need to make it a bit deeper, bring that bottom leg towards you. A few deep breaths here. I apologize for looking at my watch, but there's no clock in here, so just trying to keep the mind of the time. We'll just finish off with one more exercise. Do one more core exercise, and then be all done and free to enjoy this beautiful Saturday. All right, so what you're going to do now, I want you to try and extend both legs up to the sky. If that's not happening for you today, just keep them on the ground there, or you can put them in tabletop. So these are your 3 options. This is slightly harder because it's putting your rectus abdominis muscles in more of a contracted position, okay? So then we're going to interlace the fingers, the back of the head. Lift your shoulder blades off the ground, and then come back down, okay? If you start to feel a bit of strength in the front of the neck, tuck that chin in, okay? And down, try to keep those nice and straight. Again, so if I have my legs on tabletop, it will look like this. Or if I have my legs down the ground, it will look like this. Again, do what feels best for your body today. Try to keep breathing, okay? So I like to do my exhale on the hardest part of the exercise. So for me, that's coming up. So I prepare the breath in, breathe out, come up into a chest lift, hold it there for breath in, and then breathe out as I lower down. Breath in to prepare, breathe out as I come up, take breath in at the top. Keep going like this. This one's really hard to talk and do at the same time. You're almost on for today. Now, I'm not sure my Saturday class, I hope you remember 100. So when we do our pulses, we're going to do those. So you can choose to do that. Your feet down, pulse, it's in tabletop, pulse, or anyone's a bit eager, they can have their legs up. I'm going to put my legs into tabletop because I'm starting to fatigue my core and I'm losing a bit of control. So we should come up into your chest lift. We're going to go 25 first. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, get the chin tucked in, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20. Keep those knees up, hips, tight tummy, think of lost count. Good. 1, and take a break. That's 25. I'm going to go 3 more times, and then you've got all done for today. All right. So those legs, if you want to have them there, or there. Think what's best for you. And we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 24, 25. Lowering down. Really trying to lift the shoulder blades off the ground. All right, guys, halfway there. Halfway to 100. Ready? Let's go again. Lifting up. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Lowering down. One more set to go. Whew. Alrighty. Last time, set yourself up. If you want to challenge yourself for the last set, see if you can try and do the level up from what you were just doing. So if you had your legs down, try to do the last 25 from here. If you're here, try to do the last 25 from here. That's what I'm going to try and do. Okay. Belly button's drawn in, lifting the chest, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Beautiful. And you're all done, guys. You need to have a stretch. Continue to stretch. But I hope you enjoyed this class. And I'm sure I'll see you all online next week. Awesome. Thanks, guys.